Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to the Abington Affordable Housing Trust Fund Committee. That's a mouthful. Monday, March 25th, 5:30, Buckley Room. Let's go right to, we're going to skip the minutes because I don't know if anybody saw, we got an email today from Tony Mogren, who's doing the minutes, but I guess she's actually already out now, bed rest or whatever you want to call it. So, but she said she's going to work on the two that we gave her.
Okay.
I received an email about that today. She said she has rough drafts, but she didn't want to do it. She wanted to, finish them up. Let's get, we have Kevin here, who is the Assistant Town Planner. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for coming. 2 meetings in a row. Very good, more than some of our members. We appreciate that. What? Just saying. Updates. I gave this to you ahead of time, not very far ahead of time, but I did give it to you, I think, yesterday or the day before. Hopefully you can provide us with some of those things, and I know if you can't, then Town Manager Lynn Basie can. Updates on the status of the Declaration of Trust filed with the Registry of Deeds. We just want to make sure it was filed. That was on our first year business.
Yeah,
So.
that was recorded by Town Planner Lachey.
Okay, so that's done.
It's done.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but that was one of our first year goals, so we can check
Yep.
that right off, so that's good to know.
Awesome. Can we get a copy of it?
We all signed it. It's somewhere in your.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah,
that's
we all
right.
si-
Yep,
we all signed
yep.
it. Status of RFP for North and Center Schools, is there any update on that?
There are currently no updates on
No
that.
updates on that, okay?
Yeah, now just to fill in the blanks on that one, but Judy Barrett is contracted to do that work.
Right,
And Barrett Planning has been, we took them off that project to work on MBTA communities she was contracted probably by 100 other communities to do the same MBTA plan.
Yep.
It's been a big project, we finally, hope that we're done with our end of it.
sure.
So Judy is hopefully going to get back on those other projects. It is important to note too that there may be I think with North School, there's probably gonna be a staging site for DPW during that project there. I don't think it'll cause a problem. I think everything will work out time-wise together, especially since we haven't got the RFP done yet.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a priority of ours to get that back on.
Excellent, so, we were just up there this weekend, taking a lot of donations for the town-wide yard sale, so, we can't do anything with it now, because there's two rooms completely full of prized treasures, or some people's junk, whatever you want to call it. All right, surplus town-owned land, I just put that on there for a couple of reasons. One is, we talked about land at Griffin's, and then we were directed to maybe land some of the lots at the end of Charles Street, and then also at the last meeting, High Street location came up, not for Habitat, but for maybe an affordable housing project. So let's start with Charles Street, because I know that we weren't shot down for a social Habitat for Humanity home, but they were gonna look at Charles Street to see if that was something that would fly. I know that it's wetlands, but I spoke to someone on conservation who says, it doesn't appear to be too wet, so maybe if they wanted to be sent to the conservation, so they can make a determination for us. But any update on that at all, Charles Street at all, or that was a select?
What I've looked up and what I've seen on Mass Map of that, it is the end that is down, I guess the southern end of that is extremely wet.
Okay.
And we'd be unlikely to be able to do anything there. There's a town parcel that's further to the north, but the DPW currently uses that, and there's 2 small access points, and I don't know that we're in a position that we wanna give up the access to that property.
Okay.
That's on Charles?
Yeah, so I think focusing right now, I have talked to Lindsay, we do have, she has reviewed, and I do believe there are some properties that are in tax title.
Okay.
So once those come out, there may be a couple of lots that are available.
Okay.
That and I think focusing on this High Street property.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kevin can fill you in on what he's done on that so far, and But I think that would be, sort of, you're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck on a project like that than
Yep.
finding a single lot here and there.
Sure.
We will continue to look, but I just don't think Charles Street's gonna,
Okay. Is there still town-owned property? I'm not sure if that was sold, but I think one end still, on Daniel Drive, which is the old Trainer Estates, is that what it was? I think either end of it, there were surplus town-owned property, and I think one of them may have been sold at the auction, but one may not have. Do you know anything about that? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but, okay.
Wasn't there something about solar panels going up there too? I remember hearing something about that a couple of years ago.
I'll look it up, but it doesn't ring a bell, it doesn't strike me as something that's out of your last auction.
Okay. All right, Kevin Cogan, do you have anything about the High Street? You want to fill us in on the High Street location at all? or?
Yeah, so through the One Stop portal, I actually submitted an expression of interest and got some feedback on that a couple weeks ago to refine it for an actual application to the One Stop. And we will be crafting an application to, for the One Stop to get money for that, for a consultant.
Okay.
Consulting services to success, like feasibility, to develop on that land,
That
So you get a
flow-
grant?
to get a grant, yeah.
That flows very nicely into our next discussion, which is the State Executive Office of Economic Development's One Stop for Growth Single Application Portal. So it sounds like you've already been involved in that. So, and I know that Ellen asked for that to be on the agenda. We had discussed it briefly at another meeting, and we looked it over and said, hey, there might be some cool stuff for the town. It sounds like,
Yeah,
so one of them is for like underutilized
yes.
property.
Yeah, that one I think is through Mass Housing itself,
Mhm.
or Mass Development,
Yeah.
I believe.
Okay.
We looked at that one. I've looked at pretty much all of
Sure.
them and how they could possibly relate to Abington. The key is to apply to pretty much as many in the expression of interest.
Sure.
Period, and get as much feedback as possible, and then go
Okay.
through the process when the application period starts.
All right, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
it's just,
Yeah.
again, fill in it's important, like, it is one of the big priorities with the current administration, so there is money that's going out to do and look in and assist with projects just like this.
Yeah.
Anything that'll help create multiple units of housing.
Could the North and Center schools be worked into that too? I mean,
We're pretty
underutilized?
flush with money for that, I mean, it's, it's just a matter of our, the consultant actually put those RFPs out.
Okay.
I think there may be, there's obviously an interest, but I don't think it's a huge lift to get the historic designation for it.
Right.
But I think right now we're in good shape with those projects, it's just a matter of the workload.
Do you want the Historical Commission to work on getting historic information about that?
Yeah, I
That
think
is-
anything we can do to help get a leg up
Okay.
on it is great.
All right, the town, and actually Kevin's involved in this too, the Historical Commission received a grant to update their historic properties list, and those two schools are not on that list because they kind of, 1930s that they were built, so they were kind of like not quite old enough when it was first done. So it's kind of one of our requests to include those on the new updated list, so it kind of fits into the plan, so that'd be kind of neat. If there's anything else for Scott, let me do this. I'm gonna read some of the things that I asked Kevin about, besides what's on the agenda. So we had a Red Trust, Griffins. I wanted to add to the amount of members on the Housing Trust. This conversation has come up a lot, and I know the Housing Trust is a minimum of 5. I don't know if there's a maximum, and how would we go about changing it if we wanted to get better representation from developers and people involved in the industry, that sort of stuff, so.
I think we can ask Sharon at KP Launch whenever to draft us a new proposed trust document that would include additional members.
Okay,
Then the rules on how those members would be selected.
mhm,
I guess we'd have to amend anything in there that would reflect the number of members, and then bring it to town meeting.
okay.
That was a Judy Barrett suggestion.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Yeah, I mean, if you think we can find people out there who are willing to.
That's the, yeah, that's
sit
the
on
only
it,
down,
the
that's,
tough part.
that's the
Yeah.
downside, is to try to get people, you know, that don't have agendas or just wanna, you know, help out or have some experiences. None of us really have building experience, so, that would kinda help, I think. CPA, so, let's see, what else we have. The last meeting we voted to, and I know that Liz sent me an email today, which I made copies of for everybody, but last meeting we voted to provide, I think we did this after Kevin left, but I'm not positive. We voted to provide South Shore Habitat for Humanity $100,000 to help fund renovations and purchase of the house on Plymouth Street that they're lined up. And I know that CPC is recommending $150,000 at town meeting. This would be enough for them to do what they need to do there. I just don't know how, we took the vote, how do they get the money? Do they, I don't think they need it now. Do we have to sign a voucher, or?
Yeah, I think, my thought would be you probably would send, the request to the accountant along with the certification of your vote,
Okay,
that you authorized it.
yep,
And if you don't know whether it would be, whether we do it as a check direct to Habitat, or if the Habitat incurs expenses that we would reimburse them for.
Okay.
So, you know, if they go out and buy $100,000 worth of lumber and.
all right,
This is towards the purchase price.
yeah.
Excuse me?
It's towards the purchase price. They're paying $296, and we, the CPC is recommending $150, and we voted on $100.
So, yeah, I would just recommend that we send that, and that we can run it by Sherwin Everett if he has any questions.
Yeah, that's basically what Liz just emailed me like at 4 o'clock. County Department needs to look into how the trust can expend its funds, although I think we actually signed a voucher for the first payment for Barrett.
Yeah, we did, I
We all
think,
signed a voucher
yeah.
for that. And obviously, you can imagine we're trying to get ready for town meeting, so I'm sure after that, they'll look into it, so that's cool. This is probably, Scott can handle this, and Kevin might have already looked it up. So I'm not confused, but I don't want to overexpend funds, I don't want to do anything wrong. So we have a contract with, I'm going to read exactly what I wrote. We have a contract with Barrett Consulting to do our action plan. We approved it. I know we approved partial payment a few months ago. Are we done? Are there funds left? Do they continue to provide assistance to us? Do we get a final bill? Do we need to get another RFP to keep them on as our consultant to provide assistance on reaching the goals we voted on? So there's a lot of goals, a lot of things that we're still going to need some help with from them, so how does that work?
So I guess we'll check with the accountant and just compare it to the contract, see what we paid, make sure from their consulting, we've gotten their final bill.
Mhm.
If, you know, obviously if there's anything remainder that just stays into your trust. Then going forward, I guess whatever the next step that you want, if it's just to do another plan, or if it's to stay on for a certain period of time, attend meetings and act as a consultant, then we could get a quote from her to see what kind of, you know, what the estimated cost of that would be.
Yeah.
And then determine based on that whether we need to do a full RFP, or if it's just, if we seek additional quotes to compare to. It's all based on whatever that dollar amount is.
Okay, all right.
But I would recommend sort of deciding yourselves as a group, what are the next steps that we want and we're willing to pay for, and then we can reach out to Barrett and say, look, this is what we want to do next, give us an idea what this will cost. If it's beyond, say, $25,000, $30,000, then we'll do
Yeah.
a full RFP and put it out for.
Okay.
And I checked with Liz earlier today about
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And she looked at the documents that she had, and she believes that there's 2,000 left out of the
Okay.
10,000.
All right, yeah.
So that's for whatever's,
I had-
whatever else you want done
Right.
from that, 2,000.
Okay, yeah, and I actually think that we voted 15,000, well, the contract was 10,000.
Yeah.
But we
That's ringing a bell.
were given CPC, even though we had the funds already, they gave us 15,000 for contingency in case we needed extra meetings and stuff like that. So, but we don't, the 15, that doesn't really matter, because it's basically just, we have that in our funds. And I just want to read this that I wrote, because I feel really strongly about this. I wrote this to Liz, to Kevin, and to Scott Lambasi. Thank you so much for all your help. It was great having you at our last meeting. Between adopting our new action plan, having Barrett Consulting working with us, and having your help at the meetings, I know that myself and our committee feeling a lot better that we're actually making some progress. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for letting us have the assistant town planner. We appreciate it. Okay. This will be for Ellen, status of CPA fund request, and, thank you, Scott. And
Thank you.
funding of South Shore Habitat's Plymouth Street home. So basically, it's just, are there any updates? Do you have more meetings? You finalized your plans, right?
We finalized everything. We put it in for $150,000 for the Habitat House
Okay,
and $250 for the Housing Trust.
excellent.
I believe it was $250. Is that what we asked for?
Yeah, I think so too.
Is that what we
It might have been,
approved?
what,
Yeah, I think it was
250?
250.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was.
So that's good. That's excellent.
And they were
really.
impressed that we had the strategic plan, so.
Yeah, I know that they kind of wanted
Yeah.
to see some of the funds. So that's good, and I think from now on, we have a plan, and we can show them what we're doing and making some progress. So, all right, so that looks good for us. Discuss action plan's first year goals and best way to accomplish and track progress. So, I don't know if we want to dig it out and look at it, or if we just want to look at it at home and come back to the next meeting and say, here's the first year goals. We need help to do this, so we can do this on our own.
I have 3 different plans, and I'm, I think we did 3 different drafts, and I'm not I don't think I'm sure which one is the latest
It's on the
one.
website if you want to look it up.
Okay,
I actually asked, I asked Tony to post, and I
Okay.
emailed it to her, so, and I think everybody received an email copy of it,
Yes, we did.
yeah, the final plan, so, the first cover says final, doesn't say draft, so that's how you'll know the difference.
okay, so.
Yeah.
They're all minor
We got it-
changes.
we
but-
got it
Does
emailed?
Say that?
We did.
I don't
Okay.
have, this one doesn't say draft.
I don't remember
it just
when.
says strategic plan. so-
Yeah.
hate being on
I
my
think when I
phone when you're on
emailed it to
camera.
Tony Mokrin, I
Because you're right.
CC'd everybody on it,
This is February 2024.
yeah.
So,
Does yours say draft?
that one does not.
Might have been what we got at the last meeting, but were there more changes?
I think didn't we make that one change on the percentage on page?
Oh, the
Yeah,
housing.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
that
did.
right there. So that was, so
Housing
this,
stock,
page 4, this was not the final one.
okay.
So I think if we just change that number, if we change page, like if I.
Oh, yeah, this,
we
the
can go-
58.6.
Yeah, so if I go on the website, I can, if I can
Right, this
print
was the
out page
final, and it
4.
was 3-5.
3-5, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we want to come back to the next meeting and say, here's the goals? I can actually, you know what, I'll break them out, year 1 goals, and figure out, we'll use the board's input to figure out how we can do it.
Okay.
What we need for help, that sort of stuff. We got funding, so that's the good thing. We just need manpower, and a lot of that's gonna come from our consultants, I think, because we're all volunteers, so. All right, so we will do that for our next meeting.
So you'll do them up ahead of time so we can look at them? Is that what you're saying?
I'll just
or-
break out year 1.
And bring it to the meeting, or
Yeah.
send it to us ahead of time, or?
Yeah, well, I'll try to get it to you folks.
Okay.
So, we met with the planning board, and there was talk about updating the town's, what was it, the housing production plan?
Yes.
Needs to be done. They were kind of wishy-washy. We talked about having Old Colony Planning Council work on that, and so I don't know, we should pursue that a little more with the planning board. Maybe I'll send an email to the planning board and says, what's the next step? Are we taking the reins on this, or are you guys doing it, or we doing it together? Because that's something I think that's important.
Do you remember if Old Colony said that did they recommend that we just contact Old Colony?
At the meeting?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, let's see.
I don't know.
I don't think we got a definitive answer.
Yeah,
I don't think
I don't,
so.
I just, I don't have anything about the OCPC here.
Because I thought they took care of that, but I don't know.
All right,
You can check with,
yeah.
So Ken
I'll
will.
shoot an email to them and just say,
Planning.
how do you want us to proceed? Do you want us to contact OCPC, or do you want us to craft an email, you guys look at it and send it, that sort of stuff, so do it jointly or by ourselves, so we'll work on that. This is, next to item is just something that we've kind of been batting around, and again, this is something that I think is gonna take consultants. And I know that we've been trying to offer help to developers, but to be frank, I don't know how we can. I don't know what we can do. I know we can, you know, and other than just giving them tons of cash, which is not the best thing for us, how can we help them, you know? So, and I know that we had mentioned to LaPointe, I think they're a little uneasy.
I haven't heard back.
Plus, I don't know what their status is, but someone on one of the zoning boards said, well, the clock's ticking on them, they gotta get moving on it.
Their current person who's interested in purchasing it is doing their due diligence right now. That's the last thing he told me.
Okay.
But I think he said this is the eighth developer that they've had.
All right, so talking about working with developers, maybe Kevin can touch a little bit upon what the new thing with the transit district, MBTA stuff?
Yeah.
Because this falls under that, and I just don't know if, you guys probably, do you know what development we're talking about? The one behind the senior center, there's a proposed large development coming in off of Plymouth Street.
1015 Plymouth.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and I don't know if that falls in that district, and if it does, does that affect,
It'll probably fall in the
yeah,
district.
it's
think
right
it
up-
does.
I would think it would too.
I think they included it.
Yes.
All right, So,
I did give you guys a copy of our map.
yep,
It's this lot right here.
So you can take a look on our map. That was,
Yeah.
I think it's 22 here.
yep.
I made that, and it was refined by Attorney Sean Riley. And it outlines the district. I would
So
appreciate,
You give us like a little Reader's Digest version for people watching TV. I know there's lots of hearings, nobody really pays attention until it affects them later on, but, so it's the multifamily overlay district or no? No, it's-
multifamily overlay district.
Okay, and that
Yes.
is,
It's
I
all,
know,
so it's in the Todd district, transit-oriented development, overlay, meaning over the top,
Good.
Todd, transit-oriented development. Yeah.
and this is something that the state is pushing.
It's mandatory.
Mandatory, except for Milton, that's mandatory.
Mandatory for Milton, mandatory for every community that has rapid transit
Okay, and
or
they're,
adjacent.
and they're required to
Just-
zone property within X amount of distance from, and I'm playing Mickey the Dunce here. I'm not really playing, I am, but within a certain distance of the train tracks.
Yes, half a mile.
Half a mile, they have to approve an area that could house X amount of people? Is that the way it works, or how does it work?
It's a zoning thing. It's
Zone.
not a production thing.
Zoned, yeah.
It's zone, they have to zone,
What people need to understand
Mhm.
for probably the 1,000th time,
yep,
is it is a zoning law, it's not a production law.
Right.
Right.
okay, yep.
It's just we
And-
have to supply the zoning. In
It doesn't
case-
necessarily mean housing will be produced.
Mhm.
It just means that there's a by right zoning overlay there.
Okay.
It doesn't mean, it's not production. It is a zoning law.
So how was this area chosen
This area was chosen by the planning board
by the planning board?
before me.
Okay, all right.
So,
The presentation they did was, it was very self-explanatory, if people watch it.
Yep.
You know,
if
they
people
really
want
break
to
it
watch,
down.
people want to learn more about it, go on Abington's website, and there's a great video facilitated by town moderator, attorney Sean Riley, and town planner Liz Shea, and planning board member Rick Collins, and Judy Barrett of Barrett Consulting Group. And it's really not terribly long. You can watch however much or however little as you want. But they give a great detailed, like, understanding of what zoning is, which people oftentimes just don't know what zoning means. So, but I am here also to discuss, not only MBTA communities, but like to try and get your support for that, to take a vote on supporting that. We've gotten finance committee's support, we've gotten board of selectmen. we really appreciate, like, you guys' support for that. So, if you guys could take a vote for that. that
Okay,
would
so
be-
this area shaded is what is considered,
That's the district.
that's the district, okay?
Yep.
Now, so what does that mean for that district? There's already,
That means-
the senior center's on that district, the dog park's on that district, parking lot for the trains on it, and the Woodland Apartments are on it. Now, there are a few undeveloped properties, one of them is what we just talked about, I think. So what does that mean for the undeveloped properties on here?
What does it mean for the undeveloped?
Yeah,
So it's just a zoning district, so it just means that housing can be built there. It's potential, there's a potential for multi-family dwellings to be built there, in the future. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be built, it just means that because of the new zoning, hopefully it's approved and passed and everything, that, the potential exists for it. That's what it is.
Okay. So it really doesn't, and I know that if they're gonna put multi-families. they
No
have-
more than 3 stories, too.
No more than 3 stories, is that the way the state law is written, or is that the town of Abington put that in there?
Say law.
State law. And they also require to provide 10% of.
10% affordable, 10% affordability.
Right, and if not, they have to pay, no, or that's required?
That's the maximum amount of affordability.
Okay, so they have to.
Yes.
do it, okay. All right. I just don't see what, I don't know, I just don't see what the big deal is.
It's change. No one likes change.
There's already apartment buildings there already.
And Zero Summer's coming, and that's part of it,
Where's Zero Summer here?
on the left.
The commuter rail where the, yeah.
On which side? Just on the left side or both sides?
Both sides.
Both sides
I thought so.
of the
I
driveway?
think-
Originally, it was
Bu-
both sides, but they could
No,
have changed
The
it.
buildings, it's just on one side.
I
So it's this
Someone-
lot right here.
So how does that affect them,
Yes.
the developers that were already gonna go in there?
It doesn't there.
Because they were planning.
What, this,
Yeah, yeah.
the new zoning?
Yeah.
No, they're already approved
Nope.
it, so it's just,
Doesn't affect them at all.
no.
So really, the only thing this would affect would be the other part of the entranceway to the train station, right?
Right here. Oh,
Right here, right?
that's,
This is where they're putting the building,
yeah,
right?
that's where they're putting the building.
On this one.
Oh, on that side? What about the other side?
The other side, I'm not sure, they're not putting a building there, but they'll probably have,
Oh, they own both parts?
I mean, it's both sides.
Zero Summer Streets,
Yeah.
both sides? Okay.
Both sides, yeah.
All right. So the only land that really would be affected by any of this new zoning would be behind the Woodlands, which you can't get to, can you? Or the properties that La Pointe are currently owns. Is developing, right, right here?
That'd be
Yeah.
22, right? Oh, where?
No, the ones behind, 22 is where the dog park is, isn't it?
No, this is Summer Street. And so this is the area behind, so the senior center's here,
Yeah.
and then the area behind here is where Glenn's land is.
21, I can't really read it, but 22, I
The
think
senior
is what,
center's here, right?
Right. and-
Yeah,
That's it.
23.
Right
Oh,
there.
it's these down here?
These two.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's these two, because the entrance is going to be off Plymouth Street.
Off
So when you
Plymouth.
see the senior
Oh.
center, it's right there.
got it, okay,
When you see that little point, that's
Okay.
where the
All
entrance
right.
would be.
okay.
So those are the only things that will be affected by this zoning. I'm missing something? I don't know.
No, I think they did that
No,
on purpose.
They had to,
Yes.
they had to
Right,
make this
right.
this area, so they figured that was the best place to put
Yeah.
it, because
Right.
there's already
Okay.
Already
things to.
multifamily,
Yeah,
yeah.
already multifamilies in there, so.
So if you can find me an agenda where this is talked about, we can vote, but the agenda I see doesn't have, are you looking for a vote from us?
I think it's a supportive vote,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just
not.
here to
Yeah.
ask for a supportive vote from the board.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a, like an
I
agenda?
can get a sense of the meeting.
Yeah, just a sense that, you know, whether we're for or against it as a
Yeah,
whole.
just whether the board is for or against it.
Well, I think the good thing is, before, people could put here and they weren't required to put 10% for affordable housing. Now, they have to put 10% for affordable housing if something gets developed here. Maybe they already had planned to do that, but at least now they'll be required to provide a minimum of 10% for whatever is developed in there. So that's a good thing for us.
25%, I think.
Yeah,
Is
that
that?
project was more.
25% for
Glenn's was
Glenn's.
more, he was putting, yeah. So,
I'll make a motion to,
No,
Not yet?
I will not entertain any motions because it's not on
it's
the
not on the
agenda.
agenda.
oh,
But
Okay.
if you want to canvass, I mean, you know, do you, sense of the board?
okay.
Are you in favor of this new transit zoning?
I think they've put a lot of work into making it
Palatable.
as
Yeah.
beneficial
Yeah.
to the town without, you know, finding other areas that would be, it would be more of a, I don't even know what land is available in other areas.
Does it have to be?
We're pretty built out.
Does it have to be within a half mile of the train station or just the train tracks?
Train station.
Train
Yeah.
station, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I see
This
this
is
as
the
a
only place to
good,
see it.
I see this as a good
Yeah.
solution to it.
Mhm.
I think my only concern is that, and this is just a personal concern that I want to throw out there, it's a lot of people in a small little area.
Yes, it is.
Between the senior center, the Woodlands, Abington Investments behind the senior center,
Yeah.
and then across the street on one Summer Street. It's just a lot of buildings and a lot of
Yeah.
congestion in a small little
Yeah.
area. That's my only concern as far as traffic.
Yeah. It's
Has
going to
really
be-
nothing to do with this, but I just want to throw
Mm-hmm.
it out. It's just, but it's good that we could put affordable housing in an area that's already cleared.
Right,
And they will, you know, hopefully develop that.
And all the things that are causing this congestion have already been approved anyway, so it's not even.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
not
It's just a
even-
Yeah,
thing.
it's-
It's my thing.
It's your thing?
You
It's
know,
my
Do
thing.
what you wanna
it's
do.
It's
going
tight.
to be,
It's
it's
a
going
very
to be
small
very
area.
congested. It's very congested now,
Mhm.
like the traffic is crazy around there.
But
The
as far as
accidents-
like developing, I think it's a great idea. It's close to the train station.
Right.
It's very convenient. I mean, there's all really a bunch of yeses and that one little like, you know, the traffic.
But again, all the development that's gonna happen has already been discussed and approved,
Right,
Right,
so.
right.
and the traffic has been discussed.
Yeah, oh,
and
I'm sure it
it's,
has.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Multiple times,
But,
because it's a big
so-
concern.
Hard yes.
So
Okay.
make the most out of,
Yeah,
make the best out of the bad situation, I guess.
yeah,
Well, you know, again, change.
Yeah, I personally don't have a problem with it, especially if it increases our affordable housing stock, and it's basically just talking about stuff that's already been approved anyway, so I have no problem with it. And last voice to be heard from is,
Yeah, I support it,
okay.
definitely.
All right, so our board members here support it. I can't take a vote. If it was on the agenda, I would. And I think
Of
it is.
course, I have two agendas and one has it and one doesn't.
Right, but I looked on the way in to see what was posted on
Yeah.
the door. Maybe she has it downstairs, but the one that's posted on the door doesn't include it, so.
I worked there today and I didn't see it,
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think.
All right, cool.
And then one more thing.
Yes.
I emailed you about a meeting that I was on last week. This is not really related to this, but I was on the call Mass Housing Partnership about affordable housing trusts,
Mhm.
like in this area and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Inter
right.
housing trust coordination.
Yep.
She expressed on the call that her community, she feels like she's on her own
Mhm.
in her affordable housing trust.
Is this Norwell, was it? What town was it?
Kingston.
Kingston, okay, yeah.
And her affordable housing trust, she was speaking on behalf of her affordable housing trust. She's the chairwoman.
Yeah.
She feels like she wants some like interregional collaboration
Okay.
to like bounce ideas off of, to maybe work on a project together.
Yeah.
I did get her name and I did like look on Kingston's website just for
Mhm.
like the contact phone number.
Okay.
And got her email and stuff of that nature. So, I'm sure she'd be really excited if Ken, you reached out and
Yep.
got some, bounced some ideas off one another.
Yeah, with the board's approval, I'll reach out to her and just see if her and I want to organize a roundtable, basically, and anybody in between the two towns or surrounding that has affordable housing trust, we would invite them too, and just have a sit down and talk about, you know, what's the good thing you're doing? Oh, you got an action plan, you know, how's it going, and, you know, whatever, you know, so if that's agreeable to the board,
Yes.
you know, I'll just reach out to her and see if we can schedule something and at a joint, maybe a location halfway between here or there, maybe a library or a town hall or something, and just see, or if we're gonna have more than one meeting, one here, one there. But also, you know, we'll reach out, could you do me a favor and see who in the area has affordable housing trust? And we can include them too?
Yes.
Because I think this whole concept is fairly new still. We're probably one of the newest ones, but it's new, and I'd like to see some success stories, see what they're doing, and see how they can help us and how we can help them, so. All right, we'll do that, thank you. I actually forgot about that, and I apologize. Anything else about that? What I'm gonna do too is, before I send out the agenda, Kevin, I'll run it by you, because that way we'll make sure stuff's added.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that,
No,
sorry.
it's my fault, I wait till the last minute to send it, so, as everybody is well aware, I don't really, it's funny, when I was on the selectmen, I was able to get to town hall a lot, and, you know, I can't get to town hall at all anymore, it's kinda weird, but,
Well, you got promoted, so,
yeah, I know, but still.
And you have 2 dogs now.
yeah.
Two
there you
dogs,
go.
yes, all right. All right, yeah, that has nothing to do with it, and 3 wives, but anyways. Does anybody, discussion about the Affordable Housing Trust page on the town's website, I will tell you, and it came in handy tonight, it's a new look, obviously you've seen the new town website, and
Yeah.
it's a new look and streamlined. I think our page is good, and I did check, and our plan is up there, and it was pretty good, and our agenda was up there. So I'm happy with some of the things that's going on. If there's something you'd like to see up there,
Members are,
Yeah.
still lists Mike,
Members are not right.
yeah.
they're not?
No, it still has Mike and not Suzanne.
Okay,
Yeah.
When they did the transfer, there were issues.
okay, yeah.
So it might have, I don't know if Suzanne was on the old website, but it's Mike on the new one.
I think I was provided the information. I definitely had the right members, so maybe.
They've definitely had issues with it, because
Yeah.
some stuff on the housing authority page was messed
Yeah,
up
I-
too.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that.
Okay, all right. If there's anything you'd like to see, changes as far as our page, please. I think Pam has volunteered to kind of be a contact for that.
Yeah, I
so
haven't had to
No,
do
so that-
anything yet,
That's
so,
good. So,
I mean, anything you want.
and I feel confident that at our next meeting, we'll have some minutes, and we'll get back on track with the minutes, I think, so. We've approved more minutes in the last 2 months than we've approved in a year, so that's good. One set. Anyways, I shouldn't say that out loud. Does anybody else have anything else that they would like to talk about? Any issues, problems? Again, I'm happy about the way things are going. You want to run agendas by Kevin, just, we can add things, and I forgot all about that email that you sent me about that meeting with that woman, so I apologize for that. There is a lot of information that, you can keep us updated like you have been about, seminars and things online that we can visit, because they are pretty helpful. So many questions, so much things to do, and this new One Stop for Growth is really kind of a cool thing too, and I'm glad to hear you were on it trying to help us out, so thank you for that.
I just wanted to mention that Abington Bank is coming out with some new programs for first-time home buyers, and it might be regular home buyers too. I meant to print out the email and I neglected to do so. But you can check on their website for information. There's, down payment monies available and other things, so it's worth checking out at Abington Bank. I think it's abingtonbank.com.
And I don't know if there's any problems or issues if we were to post a link on our page for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for Abington residents, so maybe, Kevin, can you just look into that to see, we'll get the link, but can you just find out if we post a local bank's website for the benefit of Abington, homeowners and future homeowners, if that's something like that is okay to do. I mean, we did post a link Scott's suggestion for the town of Weymouth had a lottery, housing
Oh, yeah.
lottery, so. I don't want to put anybody in the spot. I was at Rockland Trust and just opened up an account for Avenue Celebrates, talking to one of the women, the assistant branch manager up there. We're talking about the town, where she lives, and she's like, well, I live in Rockland, but I'm moving to Cohasset. I was like, oh, she goes like, no, it's a Habitat for Humanity house. I'm moving into one.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And I was so happy for her. It was
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah, that's
we had a lot
awesome.
to talk about. She was excited to hear that there's one going around the corner, you know, so it was good for her, you know, so
Mm-hmm.
she's got, it's a duplex. I think actually South Shore Habitat talked about some duplexes they're putting in.
Yep.
Yes.
So she's gonna be the recipient of it, so that's kind of exciting, so they just poured the foundation. So it's good to hear the good things at Habitat and how grateful she is, so it's kind of cool, and hopefully we can get that going here in the town, so.
I mean, I would
I'll
say if
forward
there's
that email
other
to you.
Thank you.
banks or, you
Yeah,
know,
oh, absolutely.
that have programs, you know, I mean, we can find
Yeah.
out about that, or they could reach out to us if.
I do
you
know when I was on this was years ago, oh my gosh, when I was on the sewer commission and town sewage came down, I went to the local banks and I said, can you folks have a low-interest loan for people that want to hitch up to the sewer?
Yeah.
And the banks, pretty much, back then it was like 2 or 3 banks in town, they all agreed to it, and so we posted that link for the residents, so.
Yeah.
All right, our next meeting is?
I have a question.
Yep.
There's an agenda on the selectmen's meeting about 22 Bedford Street. What is that all about? Is that I mean, can I
22
ask that question?
I know you're asking me, and
I know it's up by the golf course.
Well, if we end this meeting soon.
Oh, it's the house, okay, so that's the house
Yeah.
that the town owns that they rent
Right.
out.
Oh, yeah.
Is
And,
that on our, is that like under the,
No,
oh, it's
No.
not of the.
no, no, they've owned it for years and rented it. My next door neighbors used to live there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so it just
but
goes
what,
through the town.
what about it?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I was just wondering if it was on the housing
they need a new
authorities.
license agreement for it.
Okay.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
I know there
because
was talk one
I know
point-
it wasn't on
Next
the,
meeting.
It's,
on the agenda, the housing
April
authority.
22nd
Okay.
at 5:30.
Where's the meeting?
He's on.
I'm not, but I'm coming in hot. Okay. I'm getting off a plane,
Oh.
so
That's your life story.
it is my life story.
Jen's away somewhere, and you're getting off a plane, so.
I'm always trying to get out of Dodge.
All right, anything else?
So should we change the date?
No, I'll be here.
Okay.
Might not be well.
So it's the 22nd?
Yeah, so April 22nd, 5:30, the next one. Do you want to go
No,
further
May.
in?
Yeah, we want to do the meeting after that?
You want to do May and June?
Yeah.
So Selectmen's 2nd and 4th, right?
Mhm.
But Memorial Day is the 4th in May. So what do they usually do? The day after, or?
We usually do it on Tuesday. It all
It'll
depends.
probably be the first available Monday, because it's gonna have a new board. So it'll probably be the
Right,
very
it'll be
first.
yes.
So they would have it on that would be the 13th, be the first meeting of the month.
Yeah, and then, so is there a 4th?
The 4th is Memorial Day.
Oh. Well,
You want to do it on the 13th? I'll book the rooms and, April 13th, 5:30. No, May
April-
13th.
13th.
May 13th.
April 22nd, right? And May 13th.
April 22nd, May 13th. And then June, it would be the 24th. You want to wait till the 24th? Go 6 weeks.
Sure.
Okay, June 24th.
Is, do we know who is up for reappointment this year? Is
Jen.
Jen is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think she's the only one, but I'm not
I
positive.
will reach out.
Is it you? Are you
I
up?
don't know. It's 2, 2, and 1, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know. May wait, bow out gracefully, that'd be kind of cool. I will reach out to Jen to see if she's going to re-up, and if not, then we can discuss that at our next meeting about maybe trying to get someone to express some interest.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head if there's two, but I know she's up.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Motion to adjourn?
A second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Aye.
Thank you.